Hey guys, Zomfox here, and a couple videos ago I opened a 2023 USFL Upper Deck box set. And today we're going to be looking at the overall set and doing a full-scale review of the whole set. This is going to be looking at the design, what you can pull, what are in the product, what is the print run estimated, and compare it to other sets and give my final overall rating. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, it would mean a lot. So without further, let's look at exactly what's in this product. Now, in each box, you will be getting at least one numbered card per box. Every single site I've seen has said different things. Essentially, you get one numbered card per box, and then you get basically guaranteed another numbered card or autograph. We'll get to why it's basically in a second. That's essentially what you get. You get 25 base cards, which are supposed to be the 25 best players in the league. Spoiler, they're not. A 5-card season retrospective season checklist, which is to the season before. This is the 2022 season. And then you get 5 parallel cards, with 3 of them being unnumbered golds, 1 being the numbered card, and then 1 other one. So in each box, like I said, you'll be getting 3 gold parallels. The blue is out of $4.99 and the red is out of $99. Now, unlike most other numbered cards, these just simply say 1 of 99 or 1 of $4.99. So it's not like you can get a last print or a first print. It just is a short printed out of $4.99 card, essentially. And there are 17 total autographs in this checklist with a 1 per 5 box ratio. With boxes being $25 each, that means it's $125 to basically get an autograph per your odds. The autograph checklist as a whole is honestly not too bad when you just look at it in terms of who's the face value. Guys like Bo Scarborough, Reggie Corbin, Case Cookus, Mark Thompson, Jamar Smith, Darius Victor, Channing Stribling, Marlon Williams, Bailey Gaither, Kenji Bahar, and MBT, and DeAndre Johnson are all types of guys that are either quarterbacks that are okay to really good or solid, unbelievably great players at other positions. Then, yes, to some people, guys like a Trey Walker, a Rashard Davis, a Cole Hikutini, Anthony Ratliff Williams. Well, never mind, he was a really solid player. I forgot to mention him. Or Jordan Sewell might seem like not as great guys. Overall, the autograph checklist is, I would say, pretty dang good. I don't really look at any of these guys and say this is a very bad player you can pull. Jordan Sewell and, Cole Hikutini, if you're not a fan of those teams, could be kind of L's if you pull them hoping for a Case Cookus. But the big issue is in who's missing. As you can see, there's a lot of names you'd assume would be in here that are not. Now, the reason for this is apparently this is supposed to have been made basically like before the season started. It's supposed to be the 25 best players. So that's why you have a Carson Strong on here, because he was supposed to be a top quarterback and he ended up not being it. Here's the issue. Alex Magoo would be the biggest chase in this set, the MVP. He's not in this set. There is no season retrospect card of Chris Odom, despite the fact that he was unbelievable last year. Breland Speaks was supposed to be really good this year, just like Carson Strong, yet he doesn't have a card. Boogie Roberts literally has footage of him signing sticker sheets. He's not in this product. Then you have any of the linebackers that were in the race for the MVP, Diggs or Tizino and Gidna. None of them have autographs in this set. All USFL guys, Brandon Aubrey, Josh Simmons, they don't have autographs in this set or even in this set in general. There's a lot of big names missing in here. Look, Alex Magoo, I actually understand. He was the backup. In fact, even this season, he was the backup. He only won MVP because Jamar got hurt and he got to play. But some of these other guys, like I said, like Breland Speaks had hype behind him. Frank Gidna was great last year. Adam Rodriguez was great last year. And they don't have cards in this set, which is insane. In fact, Channing Stribling's the only defender or special teams player to be in this set, which I just think is insane. So that's the overall little rant on that. So let's look at the estimated print run of this set. So yes, this is a lot of math. And let me just say, there are 2 ways to do the math, and neither one of them really work out the best. So essentially what I did is I took every single blue parallel in this set, which would be 14,970, every red parallel, which would be 2,970, added them to make 17,940 total numbered parallels. So in theory, you get 2 numbered parallels per box, except that 1 in every 10 of those numbered parallels, since remember there's 2 hits per box, is an autograph. So you divide it by 10, you get 1794. That's how many autographs are in this set in theory, which you divide it by the 17-player checklist, gives you a not perfect number in 105.5, or essentially nearly 100 each. In total, there are 19,734 total hits, numbered cards, and autos, which would mean to find the print run of each base card itself which is also how many total boxes there are since it's a box set, you divide that number by 2, which would be 9,867. Now, also, you find how many total gold parallels there are across the entire set would be 29,601. And print run of each gold card itself would be 986.7. Again, a kind of, weird number, but that's essentially what you get. This is essentially how the math ends up mathing. Now, there's a lot of areas where I think I probably might have done something wrong. I think the gold calculation, I might have done something wrong there, but I might not have at the same time, because I think it is kind of right, because you get 3 per box, there's, 10 of them, so it actually makes sense that it's that much. So it's just, like I said, it's pretty weird. Overall, this is basically like good math. I think this is as close as you can get. Basically, this means also that odds per box of having a red or auto is about like 1 in every 4 boxes, meaning like 3 of them are going to have 2 blues. And that means that there's under 500 total cases. Now, before I say anything, if you do this by saying there's 500 cases, 20 boxes each, and that there's 10,000 boxes, you get to the rabbit hole of where the math doesn't add up to what parallels you get, is you're advertised getting exactly 3 golds per box, 1 numbered parallel at least. So the math doesn't fully add up. There's something in there. There might be some boxes where you end up getting like 2 autos maybe, or you lose 1 gold. There's a lot of exceptions. I would say it's safe to assume they probably did do 500 cases. It would be the probable one. But even then, you're talking about cards being print run out of 10,000, which is insanely small. And we'll get to that right now. Now, we're going to compare with 2 other sets that are very similar. 2022 Upper Deck PFL. This is like the Professional Fighters League, because this was also a box set type of distribution and set. And then we're going to compare the last spring football set in 2020 Topps XFL. So looking at the PFL set, there are in total 24,950 numbered parallels, 400 numbered autographs, and 1,810 autographs. Those 400 numbered autographs do not count to the total number of parallels, which means in total, in terms of total hits, there are 27,160. Again, you average 2 per box, which means that there's about 13,580 total boxes, which, very simple, means that there are 13,580 cards each, essentially. So, what about the next part of this math? The next part of this math, naturally, is the XFL set. The odds for a base gold 101, how you have to find it in this one. And now, look, this is really tough to do. So, essentially, when I see both the retail and hobby, this is saying to pull every card from that one. So no, it's not, adding the, insane amount of retail and hobby boxes. Each one is their own number, essentially. The odds of pulling a gold 101 in retail are 1 in 1720, hobby 1716, nearly identical. Essentially, for retail, you'd have to open 172 boxes to pull a 101, hobby only 71 and a half. Which means that for boxes to pull all 175 base gold cards, you'd have to open 30,100 retail boxes and 12,512.5 hobby. Again, math doesn't add up because, like I said, it's a mix in between. I'm just doing the 2 extremes. Which means that in terms of total cards in each box, the total amount of cards you would get opening all those boxes in retail would be, as you can see, a 3,010,000. Hobby would be 3,003,000. So both insane numbers, right? Because, it's over 3 million either way. So, like I said, it's close. The math doesn't fully add up. It's in between each. It's probably like, one of them's like 1 point something mil, the other's 1 point something mil. So the way I figured out how to find each print run is I basically just divided it by 200. The checklist is 175. When you also account for the fact that there's a ton of inserts, other number parallels, I just did 200 to be safe. That's saying that for every 200 cards you get, 25 of them are probably not base cards. This gets to about 15,000 base cards for each single card. So, naturally, that's a lot less than the other ones. Now, in terms of what this means in terms of comparing it to the other set, or to the USFL. The USFL comes out in terms of print run of each base card. This is how many population of one single card is of base set. USFL comes in at the very least about 4,000 shy of PFL and over 5,000 shy of the XFL. Which means it is not insanely shorter printed. You're talking about 2/3 or about 3/5 the print run of other sets. So that's a very short printed card compared to other sets, especially when you go to like Topps Baseball. If you do the math in that, I think like you can find that a base card is like nearly 1 million of that base card. It's like something insanely stupid. In terms of estimated boxes made, however, again, this is where you have another one where it gets even more insane because estimated boxes made for the USFL, again, is the same number, same the PFL. But when you get to the XFLs, where it's different. Hobby boxes is less than PFL 12,512, like we discussed. But remember, hobby boxes are a lot more. I mean, back when they were at MSRP, I believe was like 75, I think. So you're talking about 3 times the value of the USFL or PFL boxes, which if you were to, multiply what those boxes are times 3, you'd get like 36,000. It's insane. Blaster wise, the XFL had 30,000 blasters if you were to do the full extreme there. So let's just say there's a lot more boxes for the XFL than there is for the PFL, and even the USFL is even less than the PFL. Then we get to the cases. In terms of total cases made, we see another huge difference. The USFL really takes the edge here in being short printed by having under 500 total, or like we said, maybe 500. PFL's at 679. Maybe it really is closer to 750 or something like that. But even at 679, you're talking about that the USFL is legitimately nearly 2/3 compared to PFL. And then as for the XFL, over 1,000 for hobby, 750 for retail if you do the each extreme. So you have the USFL being a far rarer set in terms of sealed and everything. So that's the rarity in what all you can pull. What do the actual cards look like? Well, the cards are, I think, very solid design. They're a slick and simple design. Now, as you can see, this is the Upper Deck card image. They show basically all of them. The parallel is differentiated at the bottom. The gray one is normal. The gold is, the gold one. The blue one in the top middle is the MBT autograph that they promote, which is a sticker auto, by the way. Would normally say one of $4.99, just like how the Mark Thompson is of $1.99. I think overall the front's very solid design. I would say that they're legitimately like a near 10 out of 10, very solid design. Only downsizing the parallel is kind of weak. It barely changes anything. I would have liked to see maybe like a streak at the top or something, somewhere else to indicate it's a parallel. And then in terms of the backs are kind of simple. These are from 2 cards that I have, both different players, so you understand that there are no stats. It usually just says stuff about how they did in 2022 or what they're supposed to do. So it shows where they're from, born, weight, height, and all that. But no stats, I think, is a downside. So, what are my thoughts on this checklist? My final rating is a 7 out of 10. That's a good rating. I think people get caught up on, not being a 10, 10, 9, 10. A 7, 10 is a good rating, but not awesome. Let's just look at the cons first. The sticker autographs. No, sticker autographs are inferior to on-card autographs. Everyone knows that because, on-card is the player touched the card. Sticker is they signed a sticker, the sticker got put in the card. And especially when you consider that both the XFL and AAF sets in 2019 and 20 respectively were fully on-card, that hurts. Cons, missing many key players, like I said. No guys that end up being great. There was no Matt Conklin. There was no Josh Simmons. There was no Tizzino. There was no Magoo. There weren't players that were great last year like Aubrey and Gidna. That hurts. Another one is there's no mega chase cards. There's no Magoo to hunt for, so there's no top tier guy you're looking for. And even if there was, there's no reason to get a case. That's what I view a chase card. Having a chase card is why you would go buy a case to try and pull it. Because originally, and I'm saying this, originally I was going to buy a case of whatever USFL physical product came out. And I was going to try and hopefully pull a 101. There weren't any in this set, so I'm not going to be going for a case. There's no reason to. There's no autograph that's substantially better than anyone else, and there's no 101 parallel. There's no hunting for the Teamu Gold 101 auto like that dude on YouTube ended up pulling. There's no hunting for the 101 Luis Perez auto. There's nothing like that. Parallels are basic, like I said. There's barely any differentiating between them, and there's no stats in the back. Stats, I think, are something really cool to have, especially for a spring football league to show it. Not a big fan. Now, it's 7 out of 10 rating because there are more pros. The design is great. I think it's a very slick and simple design. Does its job. It's great. I love the idea of having season retrospective cards. I do think they dropped the ball by not having a Chris Odom, him with his chain or him blocking one of his many kicks. But it allows you to get guys that ended up becoming NFL stars and having cards beforehand. Just like Turpin. Turpin becomes a Pro Bowler, and you still are able to give him a card. The Master Set is actually able to be had. If you ever go for a Master Set in sports cards, you'll know that it is technically impossible for most sets because you'd have to get every 101, which is impossible. Your shortest printed card is out of 99, basically. So very easy to get. Boxes are only $25, very affordable, very cheap. And then the box design itself is great too. Keeping the box in your collection, I think, is a really good idea for this. I would personally, if I was, telling an average Joe what to do, I would say buy 2 boxes, get one to open, get one to keep. I think the box is a slick design. I mean, as you can see, I'm showing a picture now. Great looking box. I can't wait to, keep having this, especially since it's a short printed set. It's a short printed set. It's a rare set. So, I mean, you already are seeing it with like AAF boxes becoming harder and harder to find. Because even that XFL set, which seems like a lot more boxes made than the USFL and PFL, that's still a very short printed set. And so it's a great product to keep a box sealed for no other reason than to say you have one. This isn't something that, 10 years down the line, you'll be able to easily find one. You'll easily be able to find, 2020 Topps Baseball. You'll easily find a Prism box. You won't really easily find this one. So final rating is a 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Let me know down below in the comments what you would personally rank this set, what you would rate it. And let me ask you this. Is this set better than the AAF or XFL sets Topps made? Let me know. This has been Zom Fox. As always, have a great night.